Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome to another Wellness Wednesday, Galactic Reiki Distance Healing. I'm Guru Dan. Today is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017. I don't have a particular topic in mind yet. Those kind of come as we get going. The disclaimer bits. Disclaimer bits are Reiki energy is energy that's available everywhere in the universe. It's not an aggressive energy. Is it a submissive energy? No, I don't think I'd call it that. It's an available energy. However, it's not like an attacking or an attaching energy. If you don't believe in it, it kind of doesn't believe in you, which means nobody can just like put Reiki energy on you and have it like do a thing to you. It doesn't quite work that way. However, there are permissions and things that are given or not given. These permissions don't need to be verbally expressed or even physically expressed. They can be spiritually expressed. That being said, I don't know. I guess that's about all I'll say about it because it's just what it is. So for the naysayers or the ones that don't understand how energy works, yeah, it can help you if you allow it to help you. If you disallow it, it's not going to help you. So if you say, oh, I went to a Reiki session and I didn't get anything out of it, that's not the Reiki's fault. It's there if you want it. So it's kind of like going to your mom's house for dinner. If you don't eat everything on your plate, then you might be hungry later. Don't know if that's a good analogy, but that's what fell out of my head. There you go. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to Earth, where nothing is perfect and it's okay. It's good to drink water. And after the event, drink extra water for some days. The reason for that is, as we do energy work, and as that energy work translates into physicality, so it goes from non-physical energy to a physical energy, as it transforms through your vehicle, as we work energies in and out and through and things, the water helps to flush the energies out naturally. Water is a very, very interesting tool that we have an abundance of on this planet. There's a reason for that. This is one of the things that it does. I always recommend drinking extra water. Filtered, ozonated, or filtered otherwise. Bottled water, some bottled waters, follow your guidance. Do the water you feel guided to use. Last week addressed a lot of stuff. We'll see what happens. Hello, somebody's audio. Please take some deep breaths as we go into the sacred space. Whoever just cleared their throat, if you could mute, please. Please take some deep breaths that expand your rib cage. Just some deep clearing breaths. If this is painful, don't go that deep. If you don't have ribs, if you're a non-physical entity, please focus on the expression of energy that is the pumping in and out. Right? So if you're some kind of being that doesn't have ribs, you can still feel the sensation of that. Yeah, I know it's weird. I say that. because there's more than physical beings available, I include them in my conversations. All right, I need to check something here. Who is that? There we go. All right. Generally, your microphone decided to begin working. So as you connect to the sacred space and as you find these quieter portions of yourself, and as we all kind of connect into the collective energy of our little group here, and as that connects into other realities, so we latch on to the divine space, sacred space. If you sense those connections. Pay attention. Learn. Sing. This crystal is being programmed, right? It's been hanging out with me. It's going to go do some healings out in the world later. I'm going to gift this later. Not today. It'll be later another time. Not sure who it gets gifted to, but when it's ready, it will go. In case you were wondering what that was. Let's get underway. If you can, for the duration of this event, envision a golden light available to you from wherever. If you can become aware of a golden light. And this golden light's purpose is to help us hold our energies all similarly, stabilize, hold, and then this energy becomes available for those outside of this collective and the other collectives as it connects into the realities that are available there. Breathe this golden light into you if it's that thick, or just immerse yourself or let it immerse you. This golden light is of divine energy. It comes through divine love, for divine love, by divine love. If you're sensitive enough to feel it, please feel it within you and without you. Let it feel within and without. And then once you get accustomed to that, just kind of let it be, just kind of float in that energy. You don't need to stay completely focused on it, just kind of know it's there. And it's yours, it's come for you, it's your color, it's your vibration, it's for your use. And it's come to serve. If you come for healing for yourself, please envision a version of you that is well, or envision a version of you that doesn't have the thing that you allegedly have come to heal. So envision a you. This can be a totally well you. This can be a fit you. This can be a you, some healthy you. Please hold that image in your mind as much as you can. If you are here for someone else, same thing. Envision that other person, place, thing, or animal. If it's a person, envision them in a well state, in a happy state, not in a complaining state. If it's an animal, envision those animals in a well state, a happy state, comfortable state. If it is a thing or a place, if it is a jungle or a waterways or a town or even some kind of mental illness, like if you've come with the intention to ask Reiki to help change the ideas of an area, then envision that area with the ideals that you wish to convey. All right, so a place or a thing, then hold that image in your mind for as long as you can for the rest of the event, or until we kind of come back from the sacred space. If you're lost, right? So if you're lost and now you are ill, all right, and you're asking yourself, even a younger version of you, how did we get here? How did this happen? How do I get out of here? And you're asking the wisdom of your younger self to help you out of it. You can envision that younger self or that other version of you forward to ask information. This goes for people, places, things, animals. Loved ones, past ones, present ones, physical, non-physical. In the scope of creation, it's kind of all the same thing. I know that sounds weird, but it's true. So as we hold our elevated images, let's envision those images with the golden light that we just brought to us shortly ago and encompass them within it so that those frequencies all match. They have a moment to acclimate to one another. So the divine energy that you created, called forth, came for you to serve, envision them encompassed in that same energy of yours so that they can acclimate to you, so that your wishes can convey to them and that they can accept them should they so choose. Doesn't matter what their affliction is or what their disease is or even if they're not even completely sick, if you just wish them well. Say they're having a trouble with abundance. Can you envision an abundant them? Can you envision a happy them? Can you envision them, say they don't have a lot of money for food or something? Can you envision them maybe at a restaurant enjoying themselves where maybe their food was free that day? Envision them not afflicted and happy with their experiences. If it's an unhappy animal and you envision the animal happy, say the animal's in an unhappy kind of place. Maybe it lives at a farm that doesn't have very many resources. You can envision that animal in a happier place. Maybe perhaps in happier, what we would consider conditions. Just hold that vision of the happy animal. Oh, water. Okay. You can hold more than one image. You can hold the sick friend. You can hold yourself in a wellness vision. You can hold the oceans in a well condition. You can hold animals that you know in a well condition. You can hold visions of lands that might be in trouble. Maybe they've been burned or scorched or something, or perhaps they're in a drought, or who knows. But you envision the land in a well condition. Whatever it is, hold those images forward in your mind, surrounded with your golden light and our golden light collectively. You might be experiencing a little happiness thinking about all this wellness that's available, because wellness is the constant of the universe. There's other constants. Other constants. But well-being is a very big constant that isn't talked about much. As you expand the joy of well-being for all the things that you're envisioning, uplifting all of these things, and as you begin to feel that joy, let that joy amplify. We're going to amplify the entire collective right here. We were not kidding. There are serious portions to the less serious portions. This is all just my mental work. Yeah, it is. This is our little group collectively using our souls to lift and uplift other beings or ourselves, our own being, into divinity, into a higher vibration of divinity, to connect to it, become that, focus on that, be that, let that thing be that thing. Not thinking negatively about it, but thinking positively about it, thinking happily about it. And now we have whatever number of us now, all uplifting, all of this energy, uplifting it all. The healing energy that was available for them yesterday just amplified, 1,000-fold. Maybe more. Cool, I'll take it. Because most of these are earth-based things, humans, animals, pieces of Gaia, land, waters, animals, other beings. Most of them are Gaia-based, so Gaia's offering some amplification as well. So people that were suffering from perhaps a lack of grounding, that energy is available. Because inside the grounding, they may gain the clarity that they need to make the proper decisions, that they need to follow their guidance to become a healthier them. God, that was a lot of words really quickly, wasn't it? Sorry. As you ground and the energies are allowed to flow, you can make clearer decisions because more of your energies are centralized in one location. The more well-grounded you are, the clearer, the more clarity, the better decisions you can make for yourself. If you have been unwell, or somebody you know, or all these things that we're holding up in our minds right now, these things are now being offered the grounding that they can use to make their decisions to improve their vibration. This is what we're doing. This is what healing is today. So it doesn't matter if it's a mental illness. It doesn't matter if it's a disagreement. It doesn't matter if this group says it's okay and this group says it doesn't. There is peace to be had. Quiet it all down. Quiet it all down. And then amplify the well-being. And when the busy mind comes in, focus back on the well-being. If you can't focus on the well-being, focus back on the golden light. It's not sunlight. It's slightly different color light. It's different shade, and it's different shades for each person depending on their core vibrational being. It's the gold that it needs to be for you, basically. Please continue to uphold your people, places, things, animals, fish. Yeah, all the ecosystems, all the stuff. Gaia's chiming in. Hello. I'm going to be quiet for a moment so that I can address the ones in my mind, the ones who have asked for special attention and other things. I may be quiet. You may hear weird breathing. I may twitch, I may jump, who knows what. Don't know. Pay no mind. You all may also take some deep breaths again to acclimate into the amplified energies, to acclimate into the elevated frequencies that are now available. Reconnect with your light. Reconnect with a fresher image of the well-being. So, okay. Yes, thank you. please release yourselves from the idea that just because you have a lot of past with an illness means that there is still that connection to it. Okay, you can let that go, because just because you may have had poor or bad experiences doesn't mean, it's not a guarantee that your next experiences are going to be poor or bad or even negative. Okay, what we need to do is disallow programming our new nows from the past nows. Just because you had a difficult time with something doesn't mean that it's going to stay difficult. The only reason the difficulty lingers is because we program future nows with old difficulties. Every future now is free and clear from everything. However, that being said, nows are very loving and very understanding and very compassionate. This is a weird portion of unconditional love, that a new now will listen to you. And if you tell your new now that, oh, my cancer is this, or my disease is that, or my illness is this, that new now will become that programming for you, and your whatever illness that you're still carrying around will linger. And out of unconditional love, it will be that programming for you. And it will be that programming for you until you let it be different. Until you begin telling and allowing your new nows a new idea, or a completely neutral idea. I know that sounds weird, because people say, oh, I've suffered for so long, and I've hurt for so long, and I've done this stuff for so long. I go, well, why? Why have you done it for so long? Have you ever let it drop? What if when you let it go and a new now comes in that doesn't have that belief, because you haven't given it that belief? If you give your illness an opportunity to go away, let it go. Where did the illness come from? We don't know where illness comes from energetically. A lot of people say, oh, it's a virus, or it's this, it's that, oh, it's everywhere, it's in the water, it's in the air. Yeah, maybe not. Everybody's eager to take it on. Oh, I got this illness. The doctor says I got this. I got to do this treatment. I got to do that. Really? Okay. Then where does the wellness come in? Where do we begin to think the opposite? Oh, if you can have a thing, can you not also unhave it? That's an interesting idea, isn't it? Right there, that. How to unhave a thing. I used to ask myself, do I have this disease, or does it have me? Because if it has me, there's nothing I can do about it. But if I have it, I can unhave it. That's a very important energetic perspective to have, because in one perspective, it's allowed to linger. And in another perspective, it's allowed to pass. It's allowed to go. It's allowed to fade. It's allowed to heal. And when I was so sick and I was so ill, I was deathly ill for a really long time. I'm surprised I survived. But one of the things I learned from that experience was the energetic difference between, does it have me or do I have it? Because when I was so disempowered for so long, that little energy shift, the difference between it having me or me having it, that little energetic shift was enough. It was enough that I grabbed onto that and I began amplifying that, and I got the upper hand of it. It was enough. It was enough. When I had nothing, when there were nothing for me to grab onto, there were no sticks, there were no ropes, there was no nothing. I felt forsaken even. had no lifelines left. And that's how far I had to go before I go, oh, I had to change the way I thought about it. I hadn't changed the way I thought about it. And then I had to go back and I had to rethink everything that they told me. And I had to rethink it. Does it have me or do I have it? What if I had 10% less of it? Well, that was an interesting idea. What if I had 20% less of it? What if I didn't have it? Or what if I have a belief system that says, oh, I can't just toss it away and be instantly healed. I can't just, ta-da, I'm healed. What if I have a belief system that I have to work through all this stuff and maybe I can just take lesser medicine and do this and do that, and blah, 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 and all the things, all the mental monkey mind had to do to find all the permission slips that I needed to find to help me elevate myself to a better thought of me, to a better vibration of me, to focus on a higher vibration of myself. What was it worth to me to change my focus and devote myself to that focus? Because to not was death. So I was kind of like, well, I can't go backwards. I can only go forward. So let's aim here and devote and commit to that vision. Commit to that elevated self, or commit to that elevated person, place, thing, animal. Commit to that when all else fails. When all else fails, that's when we allow the healer inside to grow. We allow it or we disallow it. We allow our healing or disallow our healing, just like we allow our opinions or disallow our opinions. It's all just energy being allowed or disallowed, isn't it? Interesting perspective, yeah? And this stuff works. Sometimes this stuff works when nothing else does. So when you've lost all hope, or know someone who has, or any varying degree of, you can do this. Envision the better. Envision, uplift, higher vibrational version. And commit to that. And I kind of said that last week too when we were talking about addiction. Because the addict knows that there's a healthy self in there somewhere that they would prefer to be. But you have to want to change more than you want to stay the same, or you will never change. That's why it takes commitment. You have to devote to that vision. You have to devote to it until you become that. And then once you become that, you can envision the next betterment of that. And there's an infinite number of betterments. Or you might say, oh, it's too hard of a road. I've experienced too much. I want to check out. Well, then you can focus on checking out and you can check out. But if you're focusing on checking out and you don't check out because you missed something, you get to go and do the work. And you get to go find what you missed. And you get to do it right this time. Or you get to check out. People check out all the time. We even check out when we sleep. We come right back. But when people die, when people pass, they check out, they don't come back. Not physically. But we're not just physical beings now, are we? We're both physical and non-physical beings. Okay. That sharing wanted to be shared. You that are here and you that will be present watching the video later, food for thought, all of you. Please consider these things, because inside the consideration of that thing is allowance for the things that you're wanting. Your sign. Here's your sign. Here's what you've been looking for. Here's the nugget. Here's the nugget that shifts everything. New perspective. Yeah. So things that are flaring can go into remission, and things, it's interesting how each person is different and how they'll experience well-being. From illness to well-being, from wellness to illness to well-being again. Wellness to illness to wellness. You had to be well sometime or you wouldn't know what illness was. Because if illness was the norm, you go, oh my gosh, I'm well. Right? And there are some people who are born with varying degrees of wellness. And those beings have come to be very challenged. They're very, very strong souls. Admire them. Well-being is allowed for them too, should they so choose. It has to be allowed. It just has to be decided upon. We don't decide that for them. They decide that for them. Are they worth it? Are you worth it? Are they worth it? Yeah. You can express your divinity that way, even if you only do it to acknowledge your own self. And say, yeah. Everything's worth it. Be boring if it wasn't. Yeah, they're telling me I'm getting off topic a bit here, getting off center a little bit, but thank you for allowing that to be shared. Yes, it works with cancer. Yes, it works with anything. Yes, it works with broken bones. It works with anything physical or non-physical. It works. But all you're doing is focusing. Yeah, the healing power of focus. Imagine that. All right. Now they're telling me, stop preaching, Dan. Sometimes I'm preaching to the choir. Yeah, a lot of you already know this. Some of you don't. So if it's for you, take it, hold it. If it's not for you, allow it for the others. Let the ones who've not heard this before, let them hear it. And let them feel this energy available. It's one of the ways that we help ourselves. It's also the same way in one of the ways that we serve. We serve what we know, do we not? We serve what we overflow with, do we not? If you overflow with kindness, are not you kind? If you overflow with compassion that day, are you not compassionate? If you overflow with neutrality, are you not neutral that day? Take your leave. Float, coast, rest, relax. Sometimes just being a little kinder to yourself can go a long way. All right. They're telling me we can let this energy ride. That we've been doing it for a long enough time that this energy is going to linger for a good long little while. How long is a good long little while? Till next time. Plus, it's imbued into the energies of the video, so as long as the video's around, I reckon. Let's begin mentally drawing ourselves back in through that golden light from earlier. Begin drawing yourselves back in, becoming re-aware of that golden light that is your vibrational golden light just for you. Thank you, Golden Light, for all the connections you've helped to facilitate. And thank you for coming to serve. And our little experience here. Very nice. Please take a couple really good deep breaths. And begin becoming aware of your surroundings, again, your 3D reality, again, your physical vehicle, again, all those things again. And to all the things we held up and all the vibrations we raised, all those things, thank you, all you things. Because all those things helped us realize another piece more of ourselves. It's neat how things serve. One of you, every one of you, one of you, every 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 one of you. I'm going to begin disconnecting now. Yeah. Oh. For those of you that are here, if you'd like to unmute and say hey, if you'd like.
Dan, this is Jet.
Hey, Jet. How are you feeling?
Absolutely fantastic. The
Good.
minute you held up your hands, my chakras in my hands opened up with Reiki symbols, and I'm just vibrating with it. It was a wonderful session.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. I am so glad you had a great experience. This is going to be awesome for somebody later. I don't know where that's going, but it came to me a couple weeks ago, and it said, I want to do this thing where I want to be programmed and amplified and then gifted to go do that and be gifted to go. And then the deal is, if it ever doesn't work, it needs to come back and I'll recharge it and it'll go out again. So it's like, I don't know, like the satellite energy symbol thing. But Jen, I'm so glad. Good. So you felt activations and you experienced good energies. Good. Because while you're experiencing those good energies, good is happening. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to say?
I always love it when this happens because I always get so warm. And by getting warm, I always know that it's just the energy is just overplowing through me. So thank you so much. My dad actually just had numerous strokes and TIAs. So I was envisioning him getting all that, walking and doing all that like he used to. So thank you so much for doing these.
Was he smiling when he was walking because he was happy he was moving again?
Exactly.
Okay,
And
good.
that's the one thing he cannot.
That just clicked in. I thought, oh, he's smiling. Oh, okay. That worked perfectly. That's a great envision. See, you envision up, you uplift, you vibrationally uplift.
It's a beautiful thing. We're given so many gifts, and in everything, no matter whether it's good or bad, it's good to find that even in duality, it's good to find that love and hope and compassion for everything.
There is, and there's been such, there was an expansion of naysaying and stuff in the past. The 60s were rough, the 70s were rough, the 80s were weird and exciting, the 90s were really strange, the 2000s were I'm not sure, and now we're in the now, right? And even though there have been different kind of naysayers and stuff, and then what clicked in, I don't know if it was today or yesterday or whatever, it's that, yeah, the naysayers are always going to be, there's always going to be naysayers, because there's always going to be somebody in that vibration. And then you think, well, what's the debunking for that? And what's the thing for that? So, for people who are not utilizing their soul much and who aren't uplifting, expanding, they're going to naysay and stuff. But the people who are using their souls and have a relationship with their inner selves and expanding and doing things, they know. So it's allowed that not everybody's going to know, and so there might be the naysayers, but there are those who do work with their soul all the time, and that's just kind of what we're doing today. It's not just me, it's me in concert with everybody present, and we just uplift. And we offer this higher vibrational idea of well-being for whatever it is. It can be anything. Anything. If you can imagine it, there can be well-being for that. If you think it's not well and you want to offer it well-being, offer it well-being. Even if it doesn't know, you can still offer it. You make that energy available to it. So should it so choose, it's all allowed. That's all we do. That's
My friend used to have something that he used to call it unsparked souls. It's exactly what you're almost talking about. There's so many people that have come into this incarnation. They're just here. They're just existing. And then there's so many people that have come to grow and uplift and share love and help humanity and help us to ascend and move forward and grow. And you just have to send love to those people, because they don't know any different. It's almost like they're unsparked. They don't have that motivation or will to move forward, or they don't even know what that moving forward is or how it looks.
And many of the sages, the truth seekers, sayers, they've all been saying, not everybody's going to awaken at this time. Just because we're in a great expansion of ascension, and even though a lot of people are on the bandwagon and more coming all the time, not everybody's going to do it. There are some beings who want to stay disconnected for as long as possible. They've already ascended thousands of times, but now they want to see how long they can hold up before they just have to. And I thought, wow, what an interesting thing. What? But okay, yeah, so not everybody likes peanut butter, and not everybody, and if peanut butter is the analogy for creation, not everybody's into this.
See, it's funny because my dad is actually one of those people. My dad always thought I was just like crazy, because for me, probably from about the age of 13, I've always questioned and been awake and aware. And my dad used to think I was just like the Antichrist. And now that he's had these strokes and he's gotten older and he's gotten, sick, he's using crystals. I have a crystal grid set up in his room, and he's like, holding those crystals the best that way that he can. And he's asking like for me to bring more and to expand the grids and do the stuff. So I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
If you can, find a piece of basalt. You know what basalt is?
No, I do not.
Basalt is a piece of lava that's hardened.
I have amber. Is that close enough?
Amber's good. Basalt. See, the crystals are high vibration too. All the crystals are good. But older people need the representation of the lower vibrational. So I tell people, some of my good friends, Dan, you're so negative sometimes. You're this. I said, do you understand I was born in a much thicker density than we are now? The density of the 60s we are light years away from the 60s energetically. The density I was born into, I sometimes have to have a connection to it, though, because it's like part of the it's part of the foundation of my template. All right, it's built within my vehicle, and one of the reasons for that is so that I can communicate with other older people, because there are a lot of older people that don't know this stuff and they're not open to it, and say, well, how do we get from this density to this knowledge? How do we go from here to here? So, well, here's how I did it. Here's how it worked for me. Here's how I've come to know this stuff. And if you'll let me share, it may or may not work for you, but you might apply whatever resonates and see what happens, right? Because life is interesting. It's like cosmic pizza, whatever. Lacking an analogy right there. But something more grounding, so the crystals are good. I got crystals all over the place, but one of the things I have is I have a piece of basalt. I actually have thousands of pieces of basalt, and they're all in one jar, and I've got some more basalt coming from the other side of the planet that's not here yet. And I'm trading a piece of lava from New Mexico for that piece of basalt from the other side. So we're doing a fair energy exchange so that I can get some basalt from near Madagascar. Is it Madagascar? Yeah, it's near that side of the planet. Somewhere over there, the basalt is there because it's very volcanic over there. And basalt is everywhere. It's just like common all over the ground, more common than rock. So it's basalt. So I'm going to get some basalt. That's going to be very exciting. But it doesn't just represent the fire in the stuff. It can represent this grounding from, it can help with the grounding of the template from somebody from a thicker density. So somebody in a lighter density trying to communicate with somebody from a thicker density, sometimes it's not all high vibration, some of it's lower vibration. It's still good vibration, and it's a stabilizing factor. So please consider maybe a piece of basalt.
It's beautiful how you say things too. I am so happy that I have found you, because you understand the concept of duality, and so many people in this light movement and in the light worker community, they don't understand duality. They think we should be all 100% pure love, where
you are,
but we're human.
You're still going to kill the fly.
Exactly.
Right? You're still going to stomp the insect. You're still going to kill the ants, aren't you? You're still going to run from the snake, aren't you?
Exactly.
You're still going to squish the scorpion, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's what makes
So how does that come to serve you? How does that serve? Oh, I had to squash a scorpion today. Well, why did you squish a scorpion? Well, he came to be squished. I guess that was an agreement we had, that if I were to ever meet him again, I was going to squish the shit out of him. There he is, right there, all over splat. It's like trying to be sorry for every insect on your windshield.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Why go that crazy?
It's impossible.
Can you just be okay with the idea that your windscreen served to those beings, that without your windscreen coming by at whatever miles per hour to splat them, they would have no other way to incarnate? Or maybe they didn't want to be eaten by a bird this time. Maybe they've been insects thousands of times, and this time they went, hey, man, I want to be a windshield. But there you go. So it's like when Jeffrey Hopper used to channel Tobias said something really, really great that I thought was just absolutely wonderful. And he said, the master allows the energy to serve. And sometimes energy serves really stupid things, and sometimes energy serves really great higher things. But it is a vibration. So everybody knows it's a vibrational crystalline universe. Everything is faceted so many different ways, and one alternate reality is one atom different from this other reality, and it's all everywhere, right? So, yeah, the squishy scorpion is going to be right next to the fly, going to be right next to whatever else. It's all allowed in creation. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's only divine neutrality. The energy comes to be serving, and it serves, and it does. You can have a negative idea of it, or a positive or a neutral idea of it. But yeah, let's let that ride for now. Maybe we should have a private conversation and just talk.
I think so.
And let me
couple hours.
let me thank everybody for coming today, and let me thank everybody for coming to Zoom. I'm having audio issues with Facebook Live for some reason. My video's fine, but I can't get my PC to work on Facebook Live. The tablet works, but the video on the tablet I consider so poor. I don't even want to consider it unless, and my laptop's on loan to somebody else who needed connection. So I don't mind serving. I just kind of wish I had my laptop now because that had a better camera on it. But anyway, maybe somebody will give me something. Who knows? It's all allowed. But let me close. Let me thank you all for coming. I'm going to stop the recording, but I'm not going anywhere because I'm going to kind of hang out for a little bit. But as far as the recording goes, thank you all, everybody, for coming. Thank you all for participating in the ways that you did. For those that are going to be watching, I hope that you have a really good experience. I would like to remind everybody to drink water. I would like to remind everybody about the Reiki energy, that if you don't believe in it, it kind of doesn't believe in you. It's kind of like every other kind of energy, or it can be neutral. But it cannot just latch on and attack. It's not that kind of thing. So no reason to be paranoid about energy. I can be found on several places. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on email. You can find me on the Galactic Reiki Distance Healing. Somewhere I put a phone number. Where did I put the phone number? I have a public phone number, and I don't know if I put it on the YouTube videos or if I put it in Galactic Reiki Distance Healing requests page, but I put it somewhere. Do I know what that number is? I don't know what that number is off the top of my head. I'll make it available in the next video, or I'll make it available in the description of this video once I up this all to YouTube. In the meantime, thank you all, love you all, and see you all again soon.